Hi everyone. Today's assignment is the NPT timeline and map activity. NPT stands for Non-Proliferation Treaty. And the research you're doing is using a timeline that you're going to review on how the world's supply of nuclear weapons was created during the arms race and how nuclear capabilities have broadened worldwide over time. So this is a big problem even today because the United States and the world is trying to control, who has nuclear capabilities these days. Two of the big problems today are Iran and North Korea, primarily because they say that they use them as negotiating tools to try to get what they want. Iran has said that they will, if they get nuclear capability, they will wipe Israel off the face of the earth. And North Korea has said that they have the capability to reach the United States with their missiles, but that's not true. Really, North Korea is a country that whose people are starving, so they kind of use their nuclear programs to try to get aid from the world or money from the world. And in the past, they've gotten that, but today, the United States and the world isn't really playing the North Korean game, so they're not giving in to their demands. Instead, the United States and the world puts these regulations on them and tries to force them to abide by the nuclear rules they're like for the NPT. So this is a big problem, mainly because the United States and other people in the world are worried that nuclear weapons will get in the wrong hands, like terrorist hands, and where they can't really keep an eye on what they're doing with their nuclear weapons. So if you take a look at, I don't really sign on I don't advocate using Wikipedia, but in this case Wikipedia had a good map, so I'm going to use it in this case. But here's the countries that are signed with the Treaty on Non-Proliferation of Nuclear Weapons, and you can see the non-signatory countries: India, Israel, Pakistan, South Sudan. These are all countries that even today, Pakistan and India, they're enemies. They threaten to have a war all the time and launch nuclear weapons against each other. Israel's defending themselves against countries like Iran and other countries in the Middle East that don't like them, so they don't sign it. And then South Sudan's kind of a country that's in turmoil, and they don't really abide by the rules. North Korea's withdrawn because they don't abide by the rules either. North Korea's up here. They don't really follow the rules. They kind of say they're going to use their nuclear weapons all the time, and it's questionable if they even have nuclear weapons. So they're not really part of this whole NPT. Okay, so this is a good map. I like this map, and it kind of gives a history on the NPT also. So when you get into there's a timeline in the map. How you use a timeline, I'm going to go from the beginning here. Using the timeline, if you go in there and you load the map, there's a timeline across the top, and that goes along with the map. And as you move this over, it will show you how the world has changed. And if you go into these different, there's a key down here, so you can see there's a nuclear explosion right here. If you click on that, it tells you, why that nuclear explosion was there. Most of them, almost all of them, are tests. So in this case, the Soviet Union was testing their nuclear weapon. If you go back to the beginning, 45. You could guess what this explosion was. This is Hiroshima and Nagasaki by the United States. So that's the only time that nuclear weapons were used in war and not testing. Okay? So, and then if you click on these other, the key, there's development in Canada, and there's development in Great Britain. Okay? And then you move this timeline over, and then you keep on looking how things are changing along the timeline. Okay, so you can see there's a big jump in 1955, with Australia and Egypt, and you have the Soviet Union, and up here you have Sweden, You have China, Yugoslavia, who's this? Switzerland, and Britain. So keep on moving it around here, and then you can see that they've had some key development. See there. Okay, so that's how the map works, and then based on the map, you are going to answer the MPT timeline map activity. This is the worksheet you need to fill out. So you really need to do the research and do the map, and then you need to figure out, you know, how to answer these questions. You need to give the PEA method answers to answer these questions. You can't just give, you have to answer the why portion. You can't just say the countries and not answer why. Okay, and I would suggest doing further research beyond the map if you have any questions about these you know, like the first question and things like that. What threat does the world face from countries with unconfirmed nuclear weapons or those reportedly developed nuclear weapons? Okay, I talked about that too. Okay, and you can look up these questions online too if you want to look up them up. All right, that's all I have for you today, and I will talk to you all later. All right, bye.